Our chronological Bible reading for August 18th is Jeremiah chapters 38 through 40 and Psalms 74 and 79. Jeremiah's unpopular message is not received well at all, and he is thrown into a cistern. It's essentially an underground water storage tank, only there's no water in it. It's just mud. Imagine being in a place like that, not being able to sit or lay down because you're waist deep in mud. It was dark, it was dreary, it probably stank, and it was certainly bleak. Imagine being Jeremiah, having to give a message that was so unpopular. You're in a city that is being sieged. Many of the people of your city have already been taken captive and exiled as slaves in a foreign city. And now you're here proclaiming a message that you say is from God, telling everyone who will listen that this foreign army led by this evil king is actually a messenger from God, and that we need, and you're telling everybody to submit to him, to surrender. Can only imagine what it would be like today if you were a prophet on the streets of Kiev, Ukraine, telling everyone that they needed to surrender to the Russians. That would not be received well. And yet Jeremiah fearlessly proclaimed the message that God had put on his heart. And once again, it's costing him his freedom. And had it not been for the victory of this evil king Nebuchadnezzar, Jeremiah would have died in the mud of that cistern. One of the things Nebuchadnezzar did when he took over the city of Jerusalem was to appoint his own representative of the Jewish people, and it's this wicked king Zedekiah. Zedekiah was so wicked that he was afraid when they lost the war, the people of Judah who had defected, who had surrendered, would repay him for the way he had treated them. Jeremiah assures him that's not going to happen, and that his only path forward for life is to submit, to not follow through with the plans for revolt that were in his heart. But Zedekiah doesn't accept the word that he receives from Jeremiah, even though he had gone to Jeremiah for advice and a word from the Lord. There's a huge problem in the church today when people are facing trials of diverse kinds and they want to see God move. They want to see their circumstances change for the better. And yet when they seek godly advice, they're unwilling to follow it. A lot of people want the benefits of relationship with God, so he'll fix their problems, so he'll give them the life they want, but they're unwilling to submit to him and follow his advice. God is so loving and so gracious, and he wants to be in relationship with us. He wants to bless us. He wants to give us the things we desire. And yet his patience wears thin at times because so often many of us act just the way Zedekiah did. When their problems become insurmountable, they go to God asking for help and advice, but we don't like the answer we're given. And so we continue on in our own way, and we suffer the wrath that results from our own poor choices. Zedekiah was told, if you just submit to Nebuchadnezzar, you can have life. But if you continue on your own path, doing what you want to do rather than what God has said, it will not end well for you. You will die, and you will not be able to escape. Let us carefully consider the weight of this message and apply it to our own lives. If there's some area where we're not submitted to God, where we're not doing what God has told us to do, let us not foolishly continue to expect God to bail us out of trouble and solve our problems. We just don't get the benefit of having relationship with him if we're not submitted to him. In chapter 39, Jerusalem falls to Babylon, and a lot of people during that time would have thought this was the end of the war. We have lost. As Psalm 74 says, Lord God, why have you rejected us forever? But the truth is, from God's perspective, that was not the war. That was just a battle. And yes, some of his people lost that battle, but if they keep God's perspective, they'll understand that God doesn't lose. This defeat from a human perspective was part of God's plan. God ordained it for a purpose. It wasn't ideal, but those who are his know that everything we experience works together for the good of those of us who are called according to his purpose, who are walking according to his statutes. The season of life that you're in right now might feel like a major defeat, but it's not a loss. It's preparation. It's not the end. It's just another step toward becoming who God has created you to be. I'm sure no one in Judah wanted to see Jerusalem fall, but a lot of them had been praying for righteousness to be restored to the throne. A lot of them were fed up with the government corruption, and they were begging God to move and to drain the swamp of the political system. They didn't want to see Jerusalem fall, and yet this was God's answer to their prayers. Victory in the kingdom is not what we expect so much of the time. So many of us today have been praying the same thing. We've been asking God to reveal wickedness in high places, whether it's in the church or in the government, maybe where we work or go to school. It might be in your family. There are people in positions of power who are wielding that power for their own benefit. They're selfish. They're using other people. They're lying about other people. They're enriching themselves off the backs of the people they're supposed to be serving. They're committing crimes and accusing other innocent people of the crimes they themselves are guilty of. And the people of God have been crying out for justice, saying it's not right that this continue. God, please do something about this. And now God is moving, and it might look like you are losing the war. It might mean the company you work for is going out of business. It might mean that your nation is losing the war, and the temptation would be to say, no, God, please save my country. No, God, please save the company I work for. And God is saying, you can't have it both ways. You asked me to move, and now I'm moving. You have to go through the process. Just keep trusting me. All seemed as though it was lost for many people in Judah, but God was saying to the faithful, to those who remained humble before him, to those who were standing up for truth and for righteousness, and who were obeying him when he said to surrender to the king of Babylon. He preserved them. He said, I know the plans I have for you, plans for a hope and a future. This isn't the end. This is just another step along the way. Wherever you are today, whatever challenge you're going through today, please consider this. Maybe it's from God. Maybe it's for your good. Maybe it is the answer to your prayers. And as you consider these things, may God bless you. May God reveal the truth to you so you never have to take another person's word for it. May you know it directly from the source himself. May he fill you with his spirit for his glory, for your good, and for the advancement of his kingdom. See you tomorrow.